Hello mindful foodies, Inga from Health Origins here. So today I wanted to share a few zero food waste tips with you that I've learned along the way, and hopefully they'll be helpful to you to get more out of your produce and to waste less. So there are quite a few things, and I'll be talking through and showing you bits and pieces. So the first one that comes to mind is how we cut cabbage or cauliflower or broccoli, right? And a lot of people cut off just the, either from broccoli just the florets, or from cauliflower also the florets, and they just chuck this whole stalk of or even cabbage, they just obviously cut out of the cabbage, and they just chuck that stalk. But there's so much goodness inside of that stalk. So what I normally do, I just peel the hard skin off the stalk of either a cabbage or a cauliflower or broccoli. So either of these cruciferous vegetables, I just peel the hard outer layer of the skin, and then I either eat the inside of the stalk as a nice crunchy vegetable snack, or you can chop it up and just add it with the rest of your veggies to steam or cook, or whichever way you're preparing your veggies. So that's one tip. Another tip, talking about cauliflower, and that's saving quite a bit of waste. You know how in cauliflower you have these beautiful leaves of cauliflower, and a lot of people most people just cut them out and then just chuck them. But you could actually use all, if there are some like really bad, bruised and kind of misshapen ones, then perhaps you could obviously compost them. But if there are still, nice looking, healthy leaves around your cauliflower, just chop them up, as you would any kind of leafy green vegetable, and use it in soups, stews, curries, perfect for curries, and things like that. So that way you get that bit more goodness from your vegetable. Or alternatively, if you don't want to use them in an actual dish, you can then put them in with your vegetable scraps in a Ziploc bag in a freezer, and then when you're ready to make stock. So talking about that Ziploc bag with your vegetable scraps, so your carrot ends of an onion or celery. In fact, for onion, if your onion is clean and you cut off all like the dirty bits or the dirty outer layers, if you like, the crunchy bits, then the inner ones, the even if they're golden, the golden colored layers, dry layers of the onion, they can actually go to that scrap bag, that Ziploc bag as well, because they give kind of nice flavor and also color to your stock. So yeah, so always collect all sorts of carrot ends, celery bits that are not, good enough to go into your dishes, and carrots I said, and onion bits, the end bits, for example, if you cut them off, just collect them all in the Ziploc baggie, and then when you have enough, you can then make some stock. So simply just add maybe another onion, chopped up into a few pieces, maybe a couple of extra carrots, maybe one stick of celery, and then the rest of all your ends and bits and pieces, and just boil them either in your Instant Pot or just in a normal pot on the stove for about half an hour, 45 minutes, up to an hour even. Just simmer, and then and squeeze out all the goodness, and that's your beautiful vegetable stock that you could use where else you would use stock. So that's all the ends and bits and scraps. including your cauliflower leaves if you don't want to use them in recipes like I've mentioned. Right, so let's move on to other bits like lettuce ends. So I'll show you how you can actually easily replant and regrow a lettuce. So when you cut your lettuce end, you just literally place that end with a bit of water in a glass and leave it on the windowsill with just a little bit, maybe like a half a centimeter of water, and then you will see the new growth starting to shoot. It might start to grow roots as well, and when you see a few leaves kind of forming, then you take that piece of lettuce end and then you just plant it in a pot or even outside. If you've got a garden outside, you can plant it outside if it's not winter time, obviously. If it's like late spring and summer, just plant it outside or just in a pot inside all year round, and you can grow some new yummy lettuce from it. Now talking about fruit peels. So first of all, we can talk about banana peels. So banana peels, it's an interesting one, right? I've even seen online that people use banana peels to actually wipe the leaves of their plants, like wipe the dust off their plants. So they just, use the inner side of the banana, the white bit, and they actually wipe the banana, the plant leaves with it. But another way where you could actually use banana peels for food is if you consume bananas kind of more in a green state. For me and Mark, it kind of doesn't really work because we wait until our banana is super ripe, until it's nice and yellow and spotty all over, right? So then the banana skin is like very, very thin. And once you scrape, I'll show you how you scrape the inner bits, there's hardly any. It's like the skin is very thin, so there's not much substance to it. But also you have to remember, you have to probably use only organic bananas for this. So if you're buying organic bananas and also wash your bananas before peeling them, then you can use your banana skins after scraping the insides out for different kind of dishes, and I'll link to a couple of yummy recipes from Chef Yana. She uses it to make meatballs. She uses it to make kind of pulled pork, vegan pulled pork, if you like. So yeah, so there's different uses of banana peels if you are using organic bananas, and also you're using them a bit more in a green state. Because if you use them more ripe, then it will have that slightly banana and sweet taste, and it's not going to be hardly anything because the skin gets thinner as it ripens. So yeah, so only for a greener banana skin. Then other peels, we've got citrus peels. So literally whether it's orange or lemon or even tangerine skins, but especially orange and lemon skins, you could use in a few different ways. So I'll link to my recipe of how I use it to make a cleaner, so a kitchen or just a household universal cleaner from it. You literally just put all the peels through the week, you collect them and you put them in the white vinegar, in a jar with white vinegar, and you kind of keep on putting some more peels as you go along, and pour some white vinegar on it, put it, a lid on, kind of put it on, somewhere in the room temperature, and give it a shake every so often, and in about a week's time you could pour that golden liquid, and that's your universal cleaner. So you could use it as that, or you could use as a deodorizer. You could actually put a lemon peel or even especially orange peel just in your shoes. If you've got kind of smelly shoes, your shoes, been sweating and they've got like a little bit of unpleasant odor, you could just put a piece of lemon or orange peel, and that will deodorize the shoes a bit. Or you could put them on radiators, and as the radiator heats, it'll actually it'll be like aromatherapy, if you like. So it'll be kind of natural diffuser of lemon or orange, whichever peels you're going to put. It'll kind of bring that aroma and actually dehydrate the peels. And then after you dehydrate them, you could use them as pot puree. You know how sometimes people like to have dried kind of flowers and other plants, and then put a little bit of essential oil or something on them. So you could use them as pot puree after they dry out. Or another interesting use I found that I'm going to show you is basically using lemon peels, and orange peels work as well, as firelighters, as natural firelighters. So you either can dehydrate them, whether in a dehydrator or, like I said, on the radiators, and then after they're dehydrated you could use it as a firelighter, or you could actually bake them in the oven on about 170 degrees Celsius for about an hour or two, and they just kind of get a bit black, not they're slightly black, and then that works as a natural firelighter. And actually I've tried it and it definitely works. So that's one of more interesting uses for that. Does actually do work. Woo! I think it might be working actually. Whoa! Look at that. Amazing. Talking about fruit peels, another excellent fruit peel that you shouldn't be throwing away is pineapple peel. For that, make sure that you scrub your pineapple before cutting open, because you want to obviously get rid of all the kind of any dirt and nastiness on the pineapple. It's best to even probably spritz it with that homemade lemon vinegar solution that I've talked to you about. So if you spritz it and scrub it quite well, then it's ready to be peeled. So once you clean the pineapple, I'll actually link to my video of how I make this pineapple drink and how I cut off the skins. But basically, once you have your skins and the core, you could use the core as well of the pineapple, you just put them in a pot, pour about a liter a little bit, maybe a liter and a quarter cup of water, and simmer it on low for about half an hour. You could add maybe a piece of ginger to it as well if you like the taste, and simmer it. And then after half an hour you could either just strain it and use that liquid, or do it like me, you could just pulverize it, the whole thing, in a blender, and then just squeeze the water out. So you kind of make a kind of, what you call it, a puree out of the cooked pineapple skin, if you like, and then you squeeze out the liquid, and that becomes a golden beautiful liquid that you can drink either hot as a tea or cool as a kind of refreshing drink. And I actually made this today, so I just wanted to show you. So it's quite really deep golden color, as you can see, beautiful, and it just smells and tastes delicious. However, it doesn't taste sweet, so I've added about to that liter of water, well actually it was less, because once you boil it, it evaporates a bit, but it was about maybe 750 ml of this kind of pineapple juice, if you like, at the end. I put about 3 tablespoons of maple syrup to that, and it's really delicious. I had some hot, and then the rest I put in the fridge, and I'll have some cold as well. So yeah, so that's what you could use pineapple skins for. The other, if we're talking about fruits, my other tip about fruits is to put your strawberries into a jar, a glass jar, instead of keeping it in a plastic punnet. And I have tried it, and it does actually work quite well. The only the only thing to mention is that your strawberries should be really quite fresh. There shouldn't be any bad spots on the strawberries before putting in the jar, because it's not as effective. But if your strawberries are really fresh, then put them in a glass jar instead of storing in that plastic punnet, and they will last probably twice as long as they would in that plastic punnet. And another thing I actually forgot to mention, we were talking about leaves, you know, cauliflower leaves, celery leaves as well. Don't throw them out, you know, use them in cooking because they're just great. But beetroot leaves, you know, some people, when they get bunched up fresh beetroot, they don't, you know, they just throw out the beetroot leaves or beetroot kind of stems. You know, you get like the red stems. Oh, the stems especially, and the leaves, they're so delicious to put in soups. And I've actually got a soup using that, so I'll link for you down below and above to that recipe of how you can just, and it could actually add to any kind of stew or soup or anything like that, because it works beautifully. So yeah, so these are my main tips of how I try and eliminate or reduce food waste in the kitchen. I hope that was useful. I hope there was some 1 or 2 new tips for you. Let me know if you know some other helpful tips. I'll be happy to maybe do a follow-on video. If you're new here, welcome to the channel, and subscribe for more videos like this on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Give me a like, give me a comment, and remember, food is fuel, so be mindful of what you put in the body. Until next time.